Hey everyone, today on People Now, Jennifer Hudson and Billie Eilish perform at the DNC.
Hollywood icon Burnett seeks legal guardianship of her grandson. We'll tell you what we've learned.
Also today,
just be you, because that's what we all love. That's who, why you are in the position you are in.
Bachelor Nation star Tyler Cameron getting real about his friend and next bachelor Matt James in a new People interview.
Twilight star Peter Facinelli tells us all about his gripping new movie and life at home with his fiancée.
Russell Crowe opens up about the highs and lows of fame and his most cherished part of fatherhood.
All that and more today on People Now. Let's go. Welcome to People Now. Hope you're having a great Thursday so far. I'm Andrea Boehlke. How's it going, Jeremy?
It's going well. Let me just say this. I'm oddly obsessed with anticipation over the new Bachelor, Matt James. We're hearing from Tyler Cameron today, kind of the insight with those two. I love the bromance they have.
There's nothing odd about that, Jeremy. We all are. Ooh, you're so special.
I know, you're right.
There's nothing odd about it. We need the Bachelor fix. We've been craving it, so it's cool to hear from Tyler and Matt.
Yeah, there's that and so much more coming up a little later on today, so stick around. But first, we begin with this. Here's what you need to know and what's trending for your Thursday. Jennifer Hudson brought her incredible voice to the 2020 Democratic National Convention on Wednesday night to inspire change through song. Accompanied by two pianists and a saxophonist, the Oscar winner appeared virtually during the third night of the DNC, closing the event with a powerful performance of Sam Cooke's A Change Is Gonna Come at the Harold Washington Cultural Center in Chicago. Let's take a quick listen.
Jennifer previously appeared at the Democratic National Convention in 2008, where she sang the national anthem. Earlier this year in June, she also supported Joe Biden at a virtual fundraiser that featured other stars including Barbra Streisand, John Legend, Andrew Day, and Jay Leno.
And she wasn't the only musician to take the virtual stage on Wednesday night. Grammy winner Billie Eilish performed as well, debuting her new song, My Future. Take a look.
With my future.
Billie, who turned 18 years old in December and will be voting for the first time this year, slammed President Donald Trump in his speech before her performance and urged viewers to register to vote. Take a look.
Donald Trump is destroying our country and everything we care about. We need leaders who will solve problems like climate change and COVID, not deny them. Leaders who will fight against systemic racism and inequality. And that starts by voting for someone who understands how much is at stake. Someone who's building a team that shares our values. It starts with voting against Donald Trump and for Joe Biden. Silence is not an option, and we cannot sit this one out.
Last December, Billie spoke with the Los Angeles Times about why she's worried about the outcome of this year's presidential race, telling the publication she's, quote, going to do all my research to be informed by Election Day, and that she's been encouraging all young voters to do the same. The Democratic National Convention wraps up on Thursday night, while the Republican National Convention begins next week.
All right, now moving on to this. Burnett is seeking legal guardianship of her grandson Dylan amid her daughter Erin Hamilton's substance abuse issues. In a statement to People, the 87-year-old explains that due to, quote, addiction issues and other circumstances, she and her husband are petitioning the court to be appointed legal guardian of her 14-year-old grandson. The statement says their guardianship will be for, quote, oversight purposes concerning his health, education, and welfare, and is not intended to deny him nor the parents proper visitation with one another.
In court documents obtained by The Blast, Burnett outlines that she and her husband, Brian Miller, want to be appointed temporary guardians. Her statement confirms that, indicating that they look forward to their daughter's recovery being, quote, the next stepping stone towards normalization. In those court documents, Burnett also details Erin's long-term struggles with severe substance abuse and addiction, saying that over the past 19 years, she's been in and out of rehabilitation centers and has been institutionalized a total of 8 times for a minimum of 30 days each time.
Burnett also shared in the filing that her daughter attempted suicide in July of this year. At the time, Burnett called LAPD to complete a wellness check on her. According to the court documents, Erin was subsequently placed on a 5150 hold for suicidality and drug use. Burnett explained in the filing that Dylan's father, Kurt West, is also reportedly unable to care for Dylan as he recently checked himself into a rehabilitation center. According to The Blast, the filing goes on to state that Dylan's living conditions have, quote, long been unstable, unpredictable, and unhealthy for a child.
Former Bachelorette contestant Tyler Cameron is giving his best bud, Matt James, a little bit of advice as he embarks on the adventure to find love as the new Bachelor. People's Entertainment staff writer Dana Rose Falcone caught up with Tyler, and he told her that as long as Matt stays true to himself, he'll be okay. Take a listen.
Just be you, because that's what we all love. That's who, like, you know, like why you are in the position you are in, because of you, and just let that shine. And then also just trust your gut. You know, believe in your gut, believe in yourself, believe in your decisions, and just let it roll. You know, don't overthink things. You know, my whole thing was like, just shoot from the hip. You know, like, just if it feels right, do it.
And as for what kind of girl Tyler hopes Matt finds, he says he should look close to home.
If he could find a lady like his mother, he would be a very lucky man. His mother is the sweetest, caring, loving person. You know, someone that has those qualities. You know, he would be a fantastic person for him.
Tyler is also reflecting on his own time as a contestant on The Bachelorette, vying for Hannah Brown's heart, and reveals whether he's currently dating while he continues to self-isolate in his hometown of Jupiter, Florida. Watch.
Now it's more than a year since you've been on the show. How do you look back on it?
Oh man, it's been a whirlwind. You know, but you know, it's one of the greatest things I've ever done. It was an incredible experience. You know, you get to travel and see all the world, and you know, these places, and spend it with some special people. You know, so for that, it was just truly incredible.
Are you thinking about dating at all as well? I know it's kind of hard.
Yeah, no, I would love to date somebody and, you know, be in that, you know, get that going. It's just, you know, it's hard right now with, you know, being stuck, you know, here in Jupiter. But, you know, as time goes, and, you know, maybe I'll hop on a Zoom date or something.
Former Bachelorette Hannah Brown actually spent time with him in the early days of quarantine, and he shared with Dana where their relationship stands today.
She actually called me to give me crap about my intro video for my YouTube launch, and it was funny to hear from her. And she's like, "You had to pick that moment, huh?" I was like, "Come on, it was funny, you know." And so, you know, it's cool. We're good, you know. I'm lucky to have a friend like her, and you know, it's you know, everything's good.
Yeah, she seems awesome, and she went on Dancing with the Stars and she won. And I know when we first met you on The Bachelorette, you talked about how you took dance in college. Would you ever consider going on Dancing with the Stars if you were asked?
I would love to go on Dancing with the Stars. I got a you know, big shoes to fill if I were to ever go on there and trying to do what, you know, she did, Hannah. Because she crushed it. She absolutely ripped it. I'm excited to see what Caitlin Bristow does, because she has a dance background, and she's super talented. So I'm excited to see how she does, and kind of see all the behind the scenes with her and Jason, because I think they're like the cutest couple ever.
They're awesome.
And so, you know, if that phone ever rang and they wanted to have me on, I'd love to do it. It'd be fun.
That'd be so much fun, I think.
My nickname, the nickname I gave myself, you know, was TC Toe Tap, for my dancing skills, you know? So I'm ready to bring that nickname back.
Well, we've seen him dancing on TikTok, Jeremy, so we know he's a good dancer.
The guy's got moves.
He does. But before Tyler hits the dance floor, he is keeping busy with his YouTube show, construction company, and his fitness workouts. He's also starting a charity in honor of his mother, Andrea, who died from a brain aneurysm in March of this year.
I'm gonna be kind of like an endowment fund where we help, you know, we raise a bunch of money and we help pay for like first generation students go to college. And also the other half of it is that I want to do projects to help single moms kind of get back on their feet. But my mom was a single mom, you know, towards the end, you know, like she raised me and my brothers, you know, from 9th grade, pretty much, you know, as a single parent, you know, single parent household. And my dad was still involved, but, you know, my mom, you know, took the brunt of me and the boys being a bunch of maniacs. So my mom's like the most giving, loving, caring person I've ever met. So she would, you know, she's always trying to help her friends out with projects. So I think it'd be great, you know, to go and like, you know, help, you know, put new appliances in someone's house, and to, you know, paint the house, fix the landscape, just do things that are quick and easy that make such a big difference. And for kids at school, like, so many things start at home, you know, and if we're able to give them an environment where they feel comfortable in and they feel proud of, I feel like they'll succeed more so at school as well. So, you know, I think a lot of stuff starts at home, and, you know, to help single moms kind of get back on their feet, help their kids, you know, perform better and do better is like, would be a dream. So that's where I'm at with Mom's charity. We're working on that. We are, you know, filing all the paperwork, getting all that in order, and then start, you know, to raise money and start doing all that comes after that. So I'm excited, but it's a lot of paperwork and work, and I'm putting on my little brothers to do a lot of paperwork stuff, and you know, we'll see what happens. So we're getting there.
It's a really beautiful tribute to her life and a wonderful way to keep her memory alive.
All right, stay with us. In a People exclusive, Suze Orman is opening up about her health emergency that she calls a journey to hell and back. Plus, Mark D'Ambrosio from the History series Alone is giving us the inside scoop on tonight's 3-hour finale as this season's final survivalists battle it out.
Actor Peter Facinelli directed this edge-of-your-seat thriller, The Vanished. And although this film is dark, when I caught up with Peter, he told me he found light in his own life. Watch. I know you were recently engaged. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much.
How has that whole thing changed your perspective, especially as you've kind of gone through this past few months of kind of staying at home and being isolated?
Well, I mean, it's been wonderful in the regard of like, it feels like a honeymoon that, a prolonged honeymoon, because we get along really well. So if I had to quarantine with anybody, be around somebody 24 hours a day, that's not easy. But when you're with somebody that you love, it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, it's kind of maybe a good test of, okay.
100%. They say if you're gonna get married, you should like go on a road trip with somebody, because if you can survive a road trip, then you should be good to go. So this is a good test like that. It's like a good close quarantine, like always in each other's faces, which I love actually. So I think I'm making the right move.
You said that you wrote this in like 3 weeks and had been stewing for a long time. Why did you land on this topic? Why was it something that you wanted to kind of get out creatively?
Well, it was the seeds of this movie came from an RV trip that I took with my daughter when she was 5 and my wife at the time. And we took a road trip from New York all the way to California. So we did 30 days in a motorhome. It was a beautiful, beautiful trip. But we pulled into one RV park. It was a little mom and pop shop, just 10 spots. And as I was paying, there was some gunshots, and I overheard the gunshots. And I turned to the guy. He said, "Oh, don't worry. There's a prison like 3 miles down the road." He said, "They do drills, and if you hear 2 or 3 gunshots, that's normal. Anything more, come running to the front desk." So.
Last things you want to hear.
Yeah, before you check in for the night. I didn't sleep all night. So then I started thinking, well, geez, what if there was a convict out, on the loose, and what if my daughter went missing? It would be like looking for a needle in a haystack in the middle of these woods, and then I started thinking how horrific that would be for the parents, and the toll it would take on the relationship. And so it all started germinating and sprouting into the movie The Vanished. And for me, I really wanted to explore more than a daughter gone missing, because that's more of like a device to have the audience go on this emotional ride. It was more for me about the breakdown of a marriage and how, you team up together. It can make you stronger when you're teaming up for something, and sometimes it could drive you apart when you're blaming each other, and so in a tragedy like that with parents, a lot of times they end up getting divorced because they end up blaming each other.
Yeah, to have the sort of the wherewithal and the team concept to just bounce and go with the punches, including when wild hogs disrupt shooting, which I heard was a thing. You had to shut down for hogs?
We got shut down so many times in this movie. It was almost like Murphy's Law. If it could go wrong, it was going wrong. Like one time we shut down because of weather. One time the dryer in the RV just started smoking. We weren't even using it. It just started smoking, and the whole RV filled with smoke. That cost me 2 hours to have to clear that out. And at one point, we had wild hogs come through the set, and the police came by. They were like, "Look, we have to shut down because of the wild hogs." And I was like, "Is there anything else that you could possibly send me to shut this movie down?" And some more things happened. So, that's part of filmmaking, though. It's like, being able to, problem solve all day. I remember the first day of filming, I had this scene and Anne's walking to the RV park store and I'm following her with a steady cam. And I said, okay, so I'm gonna follow you, Anne, and then I'm gonna whip over to this, to the guy who plays the groundskeeper. He's gonna come jumping off his gator and throw something out in the dumpster. I was like, so where's the kid who's playing the groundskeeper? They said, oh, he just landed at the airport. He's about an hour away. Oh, okay.
Nice. So that's not happening now.
Yeah, I was like, what about the dumpster? You have a dumpster? Yeah, we didn't get one. I was like, all right, can we have one in the next hour or two? Yeah, we'll have to get one. What about the gator? You got that, right? We talked about that? Yeah, we have it, but it's broken.
Nice.
Okay.
So it's literally like, if it can, it will.
Yeah.
All the way up and down the list of severity.
So then,
right?
Your brain just starts firing. You're like, okay, so I'll follow Anne. I'll get this piece now, and we'll come around and get the other side of her. And then when I have all that other stuff, I'll just tilt over, and I'll have him just jump off like he just landed there, and I'll put the sound in like, later. So you're problem solving.
Just doing it constantly, yeah.
You're just like literally somebody's throwing math problems at you all day long. And you're just problem solving. But it's an adrenaline rush like no other, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
20 years after the movie Gladiator, Russell Crowe is reflecting on the highs and lows of fame and why he's the happiest on his farm in Australia.
Playing a Roman general in Gladiator made Crowe a global superstar with an Oscar and countless high-profile movie roles to follow, including 2001's A Beautiful Mind. He's been acting since he was just 6 years old, and now the Hollywood veteran is reflecting from a new perspective on his remarkable career.
Crowe says being famous was fun during the period between making 1997's LA Confidential and 2000's Gladiator because, in his words, it didn't come with any real pressure. But his perspective changed after Gladiator. He says that movie took his fame to a level where you're, quote, no longer you anymore. The public scrutiny on Crowe came to a head in 2005 after an altercation escalated his reputation for being volatile. In that incident, he threw a telephone at a hotel concierge in New York City and pleaded guilty to second-degree assault. After apologizing for his actions, Crowe says that now all you can do is grow and move on.
Today, Crowe isn't worried so much about his public image and is relishing his time spent in nature. He owns a working cattle farm in Australia and has loved spending time with his two sons, Charles and Tennyson, who he shares with his ex-wife, Danielle Spencer. Crowe describes fatherhood as a privilege, adding, "You're never going to experience any other love that is the same depth as the love of a parent. It's the thing that gives me the greatest joy." For even more from Russell Crowe, pick up a copy of this week's People out Friday.
Magnolia Journal's fall issue is out this Friday. Inside, you'll find a letter from editor Joanna Gaines discussing the fall issue's theme, rhythm. Following the pandemic and recent racial injustices, Joanna explains, quote, "I have been reminded again of the importance of listening and learning, of looking inward, and of standing together for what is good and right."
Joanna's husband, Chip, also shares his thoughts about the theme in a letter of his own, writing, quote, "When a rhythm is disrupted and displaced, another one fills its place. It's how the world works." He goes on to say, "This time, let's embrace the rhythms of understanding, the rhythms of justice, the rhythms of hope, and the rhythms of love."
Inside the issue, you'll also find a spotlight on Leon Bridges, who writes about his musical journey, saying that he explores his rhythm through language and melody when writing a song. He adds, "I piece together lyrics and beats, trying to create flows that take listeners on a journey through my own personal experience, as well as a journey through themselves. I find my rhythm through my fingers on the frets." Magnolia Journal hits newsstands this Friday, so check it out for these stories and much more.
Let's give him a great show, okay? The one and only. Why do they want an angry gorilla anyway?
You're a silverback. He terrifies humans.
You're not terrifying.
All right, get ready to laugh, cry, and have your heart filled with joy. The one and only Ivan, based on Catherine Applegate's children's book with the same name, follows the life of a silverback gorilla named, you guessed it, Ivan. Ivan lives in a cage at a mall and seems content with his existence in captivity. He watches TV, he makes artwork, and he eats plenty of bananas, of course. But as Ivan comes to realize with the help of a young elephant named Ruby, his life is meant for so much more than being entertained in a cage. He's meant to live free. This is the perfect movie for me to enjoy with my little girls. We're gonna pop some popcorn and turn our living room into a movie theater, lounging on these floor cushions by Better Homes and Gardens. They are available exclusively at Walmart. And guess what, girls? We've got those candles lit. It is smelling good in here. We've got our cups full of sparkling water. Cheers to that. And we've got this comfy, cozy blanket. How you feeling? Cozy? Comfy? You ready to dance it out? Let's get in cozy. We're getting comfy. Okay.
A gorilla. Who draws?
What is it? Don't tell me, don't tell me. It's a lonely haystack on a late summer day.
It's a beetle.
Can you tell me a story?
Once there was a baby elephant who was smart and brave, and she needed to live in the wild where she could be free.
Ivan!
The movie's seriously star-studded. You've got Sam Rockwell, who voices Ivan, Bryan Cranston, who plays Ivan's caretaker, and rounding out the cast are Angelina Jolie, Danny DeVito, and Helen Mirren. Really incredible. Although the novel was fiction, it was inspired by the true story of an actual gorilla named Ivan, who lived a similar life in captivity for 27 years. If you guys want to spend your weekend like we are, watch the one and only Ivan when it premieres Friday, August 21st on Disney+. And you can visit walmart.com/BHG for all this and more fun home decor.
In this week's issue of People, finance guru Suze Orman opens up exclusively about undergoing emergency spinal surgery and how she's learned a powerful lesson about prioritizing her health. About a year ago, Suze felt her right leg buckle, causing her to stumble as she climbed a flight of stairs. This all happened when she was just seconds away from filming a PBS special. Suze tells us she quickly dismissed the incident, admitting now that she regrets that decision. After experiencing pain in her right arm and leg, Suze finally went in for an MRI and learned that a nearly 2-inch tumor was pressing on her upper spinal column and threatening to immobilize the right side of her body. In late July, Suze underwent a 10-hour procedure to remove the tumor, which she learned was a benign growth called schwannoma. She tells us she was doing all the things she thought were responsible, but wasn't actually taking care of her body. Her wife, Kathy KT Travis, agrees, telling us that she and Suze love living in the fast lane and that Suze put off getting her health checked out due to the pandemic. But in June, KT noticed her wife's muscles on the right side had begun to atrophy. That's when Suze started realizing that something was terribly wrong. Doctors assume this tumor has been growing on Suze for about 15 years. And Dr. Michael Groff says that if the tumor was left untreated, she would have ended up in paralysis. Suze adds, quote, "This was a journey to hell and back. I'll never make that mistake again." She now faces a long and painful recovery to regain her strength and mobility and is using a walker to prevent falls. The good news is that she no longer goes through spasms of pain anymore, and she's hopeful to regain full muscle strength and coordination. Most importantly, since this experience, she tells us she has learned a lot about appreciating her life.
Oh, I just lit my shelter on fire. No. Nope, this ain't happening. No. Get the away. My damn shelter. No.
All right, guys, Alone is one of mine and my wife's favorite shows to binge, especially in quarantine. It's an intense survival series where contestants are trying to survive 100 days in the Arctic to win $1 million. To tell us more about the show and his experience on it, we're joined by one of the contestants, Mark D'Ambrosio, and his little guy, Max. How are you guys doing? Hey, Max.
Good, man. Yeah,
Max doesn't trust me yet. Maybe by the end of this interview, I'll get a response from him. Maybe not. He's a little indifferent to me. I don't know.
Good luck.
It's so good to see you. I will tell you, no joke, that this series has been like a relief and life-giving to me and my wife. We have loved watching this series throughout quarantine. What was your favorite thing about doing the show, and maybe expectations versus reality?
Yeah, man. The ability to push yourself. I teach this for a living, so the ability to actually go out there and do it in a survival situation that's as realistic as it gets, that was exciting. And it was just, it tested absolutely everything that I have ever learned. It tested it while I was out there.
Yeah, that is interesting to hear someone who's going in seemingly as prepared as anyone could be, right? Like understanding what you're getting into. And I understand you were not only fighting the elements, but you were fighting a parasite, which is kind of a wild card. Tell me about how that happened.
Yeah, man. So I didn't know that I had the parasite at the time. And It was about day 34 where I started getting super tired. Are you not having it? Are you not? No. Okay, we'll go.
Max is tired of hearing about this. He's like, Dad, you're telling the story again, please.
He's like, I've heard about this too much.
Hey, he can join us the whole time if he wants. It's fine with me. Hey,
so I didn't know that I had the parasite, and I just started getting tired, and it started getting hard to breathe, and my vision was going. And then I just realized after about 10 days of fighting the breathing, I decided to call it.
Yeah.
And that was it. And so I got out. I had a fever of 104 and went to the hospital, and I realized real quick that how bad a shape I was in.
Yeah, that's so intense. Talk to me a little bit about your strategy going in. Like, what was your expressed, like, here's my mental game plan as you dove into day one?
Yeah, so I wanted to go. I didn't care about, resting and saving energy. That wasn't what I was going in there to do. I was going in there to last 100 days, but give it my all. So I wanted to find food. I wanted to build a great shelter, and I wanted to be able to sustain life. So that means I had to expend energy. So my mindset was, if I run out of food and I fail because they pull me for starving, then I run out of food and I fail.
Yeah.
But I wasn't going to try and game the game just to last 100 days. I wanted to last longer.
Well, and I agree with you, having watched it. It's kind of like spend some energy at the top so you can get stable, and then you're more likely to last longer as long as you have that good shelter and some strategy for food. And for people that don't know, you get to pick 10 items that you can take with you. Talk to me about how you came up with what you wanted to pick. Some of them are obvious.
The 10 items, you have a lot of time to think about it. When I say a lot of time, I mean, I've been watching this since season 1.
Right.
So, I've had about 7 years to watch and figure out what I want to bring. But, oh, good job, dude.
Max is like, not the 10 items talk again. Stop.
Yeah. But, you figure out what environment you're going to, and you pick, and you hope that you made the right decision. I felt really good about all 10 items that I brought, so I was happy.
And talk to me some about the gill nets, right?
Yeah, so you can bring a gill net, but I decided to bring 550 cord and make a gill net. And never in a million years did I expect to catch almost 350 pounds of fish.
That's insane. And having watched other seasons, I realized some people try the net kind of strategy and never catch a thing, or one every few days. You really killed it with that. Did you? I mean, rehearsals must have helped out a lot, like kind of the practice runs. I made the net about 4 to 5 times, and I tried everything from dyeing the net in Yosemite with blueberries to everything with making it. But I just wanted to make it fast, and make it the same way. And the same thing with my shelter. And in the military, we always say like rehearsals. And so that's what I did before I went in. And no matter how much you rehearse, though, there's always a bit of luck that comes down to it as well. So that's for sure, right? The location and what kind of spot you happen to have on a stream or in a body of water or whatever. Talk to me a little bit about surviving at home during quarantine. Look, I know obviously it's a little jokey, but it can be a challenge, especially with the kid in tow. Are there parallels that you've seen?
Yeah, I'm going to say that surviving in the Arctic by yourself is easier than surviving during quarantine. And here's the reason being, because with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you need to have fire, water, shelter, food first before you even care about the next thing. When you're out there, you don't have any of that. So you're not really worried about, family and your kids and stuff. You're worried about trying to live. But here, you have all those things. So now you just want that social interaction. And so when we can't have that, it's difficult.
That actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it's kind of like out in the wild, you sort of had very, very important base level things to occupy your mind. Here's a question, maybe that if you went the next step in applying what you learned or what you experienced, other than getting a kid to clean your ear out, do you have any tips for people to overcome challenging times they might be facing?
Yeah, man, a positive mental attitude, that goes a long, long way. No matter what you're faced with in life, as long as you put a smile on your face and, you just take it for what it is and try and get past it, you'll go far.
I feel like Max is a lot of positive energy for you. I hear that you guys like to go hiking.
Oh man, we go hiking, we do everything together. We like the animals. Yeah.
Is he pretty brave? Is Max pretty brave?
He's the bravest little kid I've ever met that's 2 years old.
So great.
He'll go out, I swear, he'll go out and he'll just start picking trees. His mom's not a very big fan of me because he just goes out and starts picking things out of the yard and starts eating them. And she attributes that to me teaching him these things.
That makes sense. What's your favorite part of dad life right now at 2 years old?
Oh man, just being present in it, you know, like watching him learn and grow and everything that he's going through, it just puts a smile on my face. I mean, he's starting to turn into a brat, don't get me wrong, but even that is fun. So,
well, Mark, it's a real pleasure to talk to you, and you too, Max. Max, can I get a little hands up, Max? Woo! Bye, buddy. Yeah. A little high five. Good to talk to you guys. And everyone watching, you can catch the epic 3-hour finale of Alone. It's on Thursday, August 20th, 8 p.m. Eastern on History. All right, coming up tomorrow, we've got a packed show for you. Amy Garcia fills us in on the latest season of Lucifer. Riza and Kat Graham tell us all about their movie Cutthroat City.
And we've got Christine Quinn from the show everyone's binge watching right now, Selling Sunset. Can't wait to hear from her. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Bye, guys.